Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Surprise Jab Podcast. I'm your host, Zachary Ruger, surprising you with new topics every single week and jabbing you with your daily dose of UFC. And we are back with another episode after an action-packed weekend of football and fights. I mean, UFC 297, a lot to cover about that card. That will be our main event of this episode. We'll be covering all the fights, talking about everything, what's next for some of the fighters, because a lot went down and also a lot didn't go down. We'll talk about all of that on this episode as well. We're going to be recapping the NFL Divisional Round games as we know the final four teams that remain that could potentially play for the Super Bowl. Or in the Super Bowl, play to win the Lombardi Trophy, I should have said. Also, going to be talking about the 48 Laws of Power. We can read a couple more laws in that book, or chapters, if you want to say. Some new UFC news, and we're back with a segment we haven't done in a couple months, but what fighters need to be added for UFC 5. We got a whole bunch of fun stuff. I'm excited to get into it all. And next episode, dropping later this week, we're going to be starting a series where I cover my favorite 10 KOs from 2020, 2021, 2022, and we'll even go 2023. Looking back at all the events, I'm gonna take into account my shock factor, where I was, if I was with friends or anyone. So that's gonna be super fun. A little segment. I'm excited to start, but no UFC next weekend, so we're gonna be trying to find other stuff to talk about while we take a break. But let's start off with some new UFC fight news. Not too many, not too much new fight news dropping. Dana White recently confirmed that Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad will be going down as the next title shot for the welterweight champion Leon Edwards, presumably at UFC 300, but I think we all know that is not strong enough to be the main event for UFC 300. So if that does get confirmed, because Dana White said it was confirmed, but also the UFC hasn't announced it, Dana White sometimes changes his stuff in the back. But if it does go down, it will probably be the co-main event for that card. And what I really like about that is that it's pretty obvious Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad is not going to sell a lot of pay-per-views. But if it's a co-main event, that is a stacked co-main event for a card nonetheless, even if it's UFC 300 where fans are expecting Conor McGregor, Brock Lesnar, and Khabib all to have a triple threat WWE match on the card. But yeah, I'm picking Leon Edwards for that fight without a doubt. I mean, the striking is much better than Bilal, and Bilal Muhammad is so boring, and I just feel every time we watch Bilal fight, we're just able to critique it. There's never anything good to look at when you're watching a Bilal Muhammad fight. So we'll see if that actually happens, but apparently it's been confirmed by Dana, so expect that in the future. Also, cool moment on the UFC 297 event where they actually announced that Frankie Edgar will be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Frankie Edgar, former lightweight champion, just a legend of the game. He has wins in bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight. I mean, he's fought a who's who of the UFC. Let me actually find something about Frankie Edgar. He's got to be on one of these cards. When you're looking at UFCstats.com, it does kind of get confusing at times trying to find all the people you're looking for, but I'm pretty good. I'm pretty slick with knowing stuff. Yeah, Frankie Edgar last fought in November 2022. He, of course, retired. I mean, he's 40 now, but yeah, dude would have been a legend. Fought in the UFC since 2007. Wow, legendary fights with Gray Maynard, BJ Penn. I mean, my goodness, Benson Henderson, he's fought multiple times. He actually holds a win over Charles Oliveira, fight of the night loss, in the main event at 156 against Jose Aldo. He's finished BJ Penn, finished Cub Swanson, beaten Uriah Hall, beaten Chad Mendes. I mean, Frankie Edgar, an absolute legend. So happy. And he didn't even know that it was going to happen. He was shocked. He was emotional. And I could not have been more happy for someone like Frankie Edgar to get a UFC Hall of Fame induction. Dude's a stand-up guy. Never talked an unseen amount of trash. Never really was the angry type. He was very humble, and he fought well. I will say, in the fights that I watched from live. He was KO'd by Corey Sandhagen, Chris Gutierrez, the Korean Zombie. So, I mean, I watched him lose a lot, but I did watch him beat Pedro Munoz. Well, actually, I fell asleep for that fight. So, and then, in my experience with Frank Yeager, not the best, but in his career, amazing. Last little piece of new news, if you want to talk about that. The Saudi Arabia event, of course, which was supposed to go down March 2nd, was moved to June, and Dana White actually did confirm, this isn't Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, I'm confirming this fight, but will it happen? This is real. The event will not be a pay-per-view. It will be a fight night, and there will be no title fights on the card. Dana White said that. And, this is very interesting, judging that boxing and other MMA organizations like the PFL and Bellator, they're going to Saudi Arabia kind of in that February to March range. I'm sure WWE will be going over there. So it's pretty interesting to see Dana White kind of taking a very civil approach to not beefing up a Saudi Arabian card, but also kind of shows, I think he's trying to prove that he can put on a lesser stacked event, if you want to call it that, the names will probably be more stacked than the boxing and other MMA, like the PFL events they put on. But I think he's just trying to prove a point that we can put lesser fighters on and get more views. We'll see who they put on that, because, the March 2nd event, which is going down at the Apex, as of right now, these are fights that are still on there. Alex Perez versus Muhammad Mokaev. Those are top 10 flyweights. Muhammad Mokaev is actually undefeated. He's ranked number 8. Alex Perez is ranked number 7. Going down to the heavyweight division, you have number 12 Jairzinho Rozenstruik taking on undefeated with all finishes but one fight, Shamil Gaziev, who had a crazy debut over Martin Buday to kick off the UFC 296 prelims in December. Excited to see him back. Unranked lightweight talents Joel Alvarez and Ludwig Klein. The undefeated Javid Bashrat will be back on that event. This is a very, very stacked, not really stacked, but it should be a good fight night. I don't know what the main event is or what they're going to do, but that should be a good Apex card. But at the same time, these Apex cards are getting absolutely ridiculous. Just to let everyone know, starting February 3rd, which is a Saturday, you have UFC Vegas, UFC Vegas 85, I believe it is. February 10th, UFC Vegas 86. We go to Anaheim for 298, then we go Mexico City, and then the next next 3 fight nights are all at the Apex. These Apex events are absolutely draining. Fights are more fun with a crowd. Even the worst events can be made better with a crowd. But, yeah. Saudi Arabia, sorry you don't get a beefy card. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's all I can say. Let me talk about some of the upcoming fights that I am looking forward to. Next card, UFC Vegas 85, headlined by Roman Dolidze and Nasruddin Imavov, currently ranked number 11 and 8, respectively. Wow, it's crazy Roman Dolidze is ranked number 8. That'll be your main event. Going to be interesting. 2 young, not really young, but 2 up-and-comers in the middleweight division. Winner will remain in the top 10 and be taking on a top 10 guy next, so that'll be fun. In the co-main event, number 13 ranked Renato Moicano and number 15 ranked Drew Dober, 2 finishers. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a fun one in the co-main event as well. I'm so pumped for this one. Alishkabab Karizov takes on Mahmoud Murad. Alishkabab Karizov is 14-0 all finishes. Dude looks like a grizzly bear. Super fun to watch him. Also on the prelims, the return of Molly McCann, Patty the Pimblett's younger sister, if you will. 17-0 undefeated flyweight Azad Maksum will be fighting on there. Themba Gorimbo will be taking on Pete Rodriguez. Themba Gorimbo, of course, the fighter who was gifted a house from The Rock. Pretty cool. You also can see Luciana Carolino. She's a fun women's strawweight. Landon Quiones, he's from The Ultimate Fighter. And Thomas Peterson, a Farmington, Minnesota boy. Very, very cool. Next weekend, February 10th, you'll see Jack Hermanson versus Joe Pyfer. And also, interestingly, Dan Ige, who was supposed to fight Leon Murphy, will instead be taking on Andre Feely, who's unranked at featherweight, but is coming off a big KO. I believe, was that last week he got KO? I honestly can't recall. I think it was on 296 he got KO. Any other good fights on that card? Zach Palga's back. He's alright. He was from Amanda Nunes' season of The Ultimate Fighter. Bolaji Oki, he is going to be fun. Debuting fighter in the lightweight or featherweight division. I can't remember, but he should be fun to check out. But yes, Joe Pyfer, Jack Hermanson in the main event for UFC Vegas 86. And Joe Pyfer broke the punching machine at Joe Rogan's office. Joe Rogan, of course, studio for his podcast has a punching bag, and Joe Pyfer beat Francis Ngannou, who technically held like a world record on that machine. Keep it February rolling. We had the UFC 298 in Anaheim, California, and this card is absolutely amazing. Prelims, they're all right. You got Rinya Nakamura on there, undefeated Asian fighter. He's super fun to watch. Brenson Ribeiro, Zhang Mingyang. That's going to be a fun fight. Trayshawn Gore's back on that card. In the featured prelim, Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. Of course, it was supposed to be Tatiana Suarez, but she unfortunately got hurt. Mackenzie Dern looking to bounce back, and Amanda Lemos really looking to bounce back after she got 50-43'd by Zhang Weili back at UFC 292. His main card, though, absolutely ridiculous. Anthony Hernandez, currently ranked number 15 in the men's middleweight division, was supposed to take on Ikram Alkaserov, which I was super pumped for. Instead, he'll take on Roman Kopilov, who's on a 5-fight win streak. All those by finish. Crazy, crazy stuff. That's going to be fun. Next up, top 3 bantamweights in the men's bantamweight 135-pound division. Merab Dvalishvili riding his 10-fight, 11-fight win streak against Henry Cejudo, former double champion. That's going to be fun. Also, the return of Ian Gary as he looks to take on Jeff Neal for the second time. All right, let's try to rebook this fight. It'll be interesting. Ian Gary becoming a heel of the UFC. We'll see what happens there. In the co-main event, Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa, booked for the third time now, I think. I really hope this fight goes down. Both men in desperate need of a win. Paulo Costa hasn't fought in a year and a half, all right? That dude is ruining his chances and his career. In the main event, Alexander Volkanovski looks to rebound from his loss to Islam Makhachev as he defends his featherweight belt against the undefeated up-and-coming Ilya El Matador Topuria, who I'm absolutely a massive, massive fan of. I'm honestly thinking he's going to beat Volkanovski. Super pumped for UFC 298. And to round out February, I believe, yes, it was round out February. On the 24th, we go to Mexico City, Mexico for Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval 2. It was supposed to be Ramiro Bazzi. He got hurt, of course. Brandon Royval stepping in. Still love it. And the co-main event, also 5 rounds. Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, 2 top 5 featherweights. You also get to see Yasmin Jaraguay, very fun Mexican fighter. She likes to finish fights. Edgar Chavez and Daniel Lacerda booked for the 4th time now, I think, something like that. The return of Raul Rosas Jr., the 18-year-old sensation. He might be 19 now. Actually, knockout artist Manuel Torres, who else? Francisco Prado, Claudio Puelles, Mohamed Naimov. That's going to be a fun card. And the farthest fight out that we know at the moment is UFC 301, which is rumored to be going down in Rio de Janeiro on May 4th, and it's Yasmin Lucindo versus Karolina Kowalski. So very, very fun stuff there. UFC 300 been a big topic as of late. I will say, last time we talked, we knew about all the current fights that have been announced. As of right now, we do have 8. With Zhang Weili and Yan Chaonan and Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway confirmed for the main card. And if we were to add Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards, that would be confirmed for the main card. So I'll be interested to see if they throw on a 4th title fight on that card. I don't know if they're going to do that. And then I also wonder what the other main card fight will be. Because right now I'm leaning Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, but we'll see what other fights wind up on the card as it continues to come together. But it's slowly ticking down. April 13th will be here before we know it. So yeah, that's all the new UFC news that you guys at least need to know about that has gone on recently. Alrighty, let's do a little fun check-in with the 48 Laws of Power, this book I've been reading. I did not read it a lot this weekend. I was out and about with the fellas, with the boys, having a good old time. Just going after it. Going out to the town, hitting up the bars, staying respectful. I'm a respectful young boy. Don't think I cause any misbehavior. That is not who I am. But in the 48 Laws of Power, we're currently on trying to remember what we talked about last. I think I read like 5 laws on Tuesday, Thursday. Actually, you know what? We'll start with Law 8. We'll do Laws 8, 9, 10, and 11. So Law number 8 was make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. When you force the other person to act, you are the one in control. It is always better to make your opponent come to you, abandoning his own plans in the process. Lure him with fabulous gains, then attack. That is very intimidating. That is very, very intimidating. I don't really know. I'm trying to recall what this really was about. I think it was talking about how Napoleon, of course, Napoleon Bonaparte, notable French, what was he, a general or dictator, whatever he was, a leader, back in like the 1500s, 1600s. I mean, he was sent to an island, and he managed to get himself off the island, and it was people were wondering how was he able to do this, and it was his second in command, Talleyrand. This guy named Talleyrand was secretly pulling the strings and actually managed to come to power after he got Napoleon off the island and then got him kicked out of power again. Very interesting story. This is kind of an image, to paint you all an image right now from this chapter. The honeyed bear trap. The bear hunter does not chase his prey. A bear that knows it is hunted is nearly impossible to catch, and is ferocious if cornered. Instead, the hunter lays traps baited with honey. He does not exhaust himself and risk his life in pursuit. He baits, then he waits. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm trying to think how I could apply this to my life. Maybe if I'm trying to lure in a internship. Maybe if I'm at a job fair or something, that I try and get people to come to me. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Some of these laws, it's hard to apply to my life when I'm not trying to like take over a country or something. I have no idea, but it's fun to read. And honestly, I've been trying to read before bed, but honestly, I just keep going back on my phone. I'm trying to get better sleep. Honestly, I get 7 hours. I get 7 hours sleep every night. Law number 9, win through your actions, never through argument. This is a good one. It's a very good one. I mean, think about it. People don't win when they're arguing, okay? They win when they actually get after and do something. And this is the kind of, are you a doer or a sayer? You know what? Honestly, I like to be a doer. And I'm a sayer because I talk a lot. I talk, man, when am I not talking? Man, let me host a podcast, for goodness sake. But trying to get after it every week, trying to make some money, trying to stay proactive, get stuff done at all times. That's kind of what I took from it. This is kind of what it says. Any momentary triumph you think you have gained through argument is really a Pyrrhic victory. The resentment and ill will you stir up is stronger and lasts longer than any momentary change of opinion. It is more powerful to get others to agree with you through your actions without saying a word. Demonstrate, do not explicate. Very profound, and I would say for someone who, I don't really get in too many like physical arguments, but certainly when there's an argument going on, if I'm able to show that I'm right, it is better than saying I am right. Because people like to see stuff getting done. They don't like to be told that it's getting done. How about that? Law number 10, this one was the wildest one. Infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky, and this one's wild. Law number 10 is absolutely wild because it basically tells you that you need to stay away from people who are constantly unhappy and sad. And that doesn't mean someone who's depressed. That doesn't mean like, hey, someone's sad right now, leave them behind. But if someone is always in a state of bad mood, like I'm talking, let's say you're always complaining. People who always complain are the worst type of people. I mean, no one likes you if you complain all the time. And I'll say that. People want to feel joy when they're around you. They want to feel uplifted. They want to be happy, okay? They don't want to be sad. And, even, it's okay to listen to, like, your partner, all right? Your parents, your friends, a colleague or whatever, complain about something, and then you kind of offer a solution. You all kind of bond over that, and you kind of move on from that. But if it's every day, my life sucks, man, my life sucks, then eventually you're going to kind of start to fall into the same trap they are, even if you don't think so. So it says to stay away. And this was the craziest thing, because at the end of every chapter, there's a reversal where it kind of like for the, what was the other law that I just talked about? The bear trap, make other people come to you. It kind of talks about like the downside of you could just be waiting and no one comes to you. But for this one, the reversal here says, this law admits of no reversal. Its application is universal. There is nothing to be gained by associating with those who infect you with their misery. There is only power and good fortune to be obtained by associating with the fortunate. Ignore this law at your own peril. I mean, my goodness, I'm a little shaken. By that, a little nervous. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a positive guy, and I like to feel when I run into miserable people, I uplift them. But I don't know. We'll see what happens the rest of my life. How about that? And the final law that I read was learn to keep people dependent on you. Judgment: to maintain your independence, you must always be needed and wanted. The more you are relied on, the more freedom you have. Make people depend on you for their happiness and prosperity, and you have nothing to fear. Never teach them enough so that they can do without you. That one is diabolical. I mean, I honestly think about it. I say honestly too much. Now, I've been hearing it. I've been hearing it this episode. But picturing that you are convincing someone that they need you in their life to be happy or to even like go about their day, I mean, that is despicable. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I would apply that one. That seems kind of like a dark mentality, some like dark mythology or whatever you will, going about the world like that. But I don't know. Maybe I should try to apply all of these laws, all 48 laws, put them into practice. So who can depend on me? Who can depend on me? It'd be honestly the bill player, whoever pays the bills. That is who people can become dependent on. So who knows? We'll see what the future holds. I think I've said that twice. Actually, something funny happened. Where was it? I was watching Kill Tony. If no one knows, big Kill Tony fan. It's a show on YouTube where comedians come on. It's hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe, Brian Redband. They have celebrity guests all the time, and comedians come on. They get a minute to perform, and then they're interviewed. It's super funny, super awkward, very good. And the last one, two guys brought up like the same topic, and it was kind of like that saying like, if I had a nickel for every time something happened, like if I had a nickel for every time I drove past a rainbow colored car today, I would have two nickels, which is very weird because you wouldn't think you'd see two things. And that's what kind of happened with the situation I was in. I don't know. Feel like I'm rambling. Let's move on from the 48 laws of power to a little fun thing I like to call fighters we need in UFC EA Sports 5. And this is a fun little thing I want to tell you guys. They added 5 new fighters to the update last week, and of those 5 fighters, 3 lost. 3 lost at UFC 297. Those being Mike Mallet, Charles Jourdain, and Myro Bueno Silva. They all lost in just hilarious fashion. And I don't know, we'll see if Halton Almeida and Ian Gary can win, but I mean, we have some fighters that shouldn't be in it, and we have some that should. So here are a couple fighters I think the UFC should have in their game as of right now. Women's divisions, honestly, there's no one. They're adding Macy Barber, currently ranked number 6 at women's flyweight. That's pretty much one of the only ones that I would care to play as in the moment. I'm a little surprised number 7 ranked Marina Rodriguez in the women's strawweight division is not currently in the game, but there's really no need for her. Looking at the women's flyweight division, you've got Natalie Silva, Karine Silva, Tracy Cortez all on the rise, but no one of immediate need. And as for women's bantamweight, there is absolutely none. So women's divisions are pretty good at the moment. Checking out the heavyweight division, they just add Halton Almeida. He's an amazing ad. Looking at number 9 ranked Sergey Spivak, looking at number 11 ranked Marcin Tybura, they're both coming off of losses, so there really isn't a need for them except to just have more fighters, which I think they should. So at heavyweight, there really isn't anyone that I would need at the moment. But if I could choose someone from heavyweight to have in the game, honestly, unranked, it'd probably be Shamil Gazia, but for someone ranked, probably Sergey Spivak. But that's just how I view it. Light heavyweight, they do a pretty good job of adding fighters. I mean, really, they've done amazing. Carlos Ulberg will be taking on Dominic Reyes coming up, and Carlos Ulberg should destroy him in round number 1, and I would love to see Carlos Ulberg in the game. Number 15 ranked Dustin Jacoby. I mean, he's been a legend in the UFC. He's been an MMA guy for a while. Surprised he's not in the game. Number 11 ranked Ryan Spann. Also surprised he's not in the game. But other than that, the top 10 fighters, including your champion, are all in the game. They do a pretty good job at men's light heavyweight. And one of the main people that I got this idea from is when we go over to the middleweights, and that is number 7 ranked Brendan Allen, who is on a 6-fight win streak, 5 of those finishes. Get this guy in the game. I mean, come on. Why is he not in the game? Just absolutely atrocious. And honestly, looking at our next main event, number 8 ranked Roman Dolidze and number 11 Nazim Imavov, neither of them are in the game. So we can't even play that fight. You can't even play a main event fight in UFC 5 because neither guy is in the game. But you know what? Honestly, they aren't really like a necessity, but just more people that I would prefer to see. Because if I'm gonna play the game, I want to play with any fighter that I possibly can. Welterweight division, an ever-changing division. They do a pretty good job, but number 6 ranked Sean Brady, number 8 ranked Jeff Neal. I mean, I don't know how those guys aren't in the game. They really should be. Number 6 Sean Brady is coming in March. Sean Brady fights in March, but Jeff Neal takes on Ian Gary. They added Ian Gary. Don't know why they chose not to add Jeff Neal into the game. So, interesting politics going on there. Men's lightweight, number 15 ranked Drew Dober is the co-main event next weekend. Still not in the game. Now Moicano, his opponent, is in the game. Really, really should be. Number 9 ranked Jalen Turner is coming in March, so that's very good news. And the big one, number 11 ranked Benoit Saint-Denis, who is in the co-main event of UFC 299 against Dustin Poirier, is not in the game. They should do a surprise drop, add him to the game. But other than that, all but 3 fighters, my bad, in the men's lightweight division are in the game. So men's lightweight does an amazing job, but Benoit Saint-Denis, Drew Dober would really like to play with them in UFC EA Sports 5. Moving to featherweight, unnecessary adds in Charles Jourdain, Mike Mallet. They both lost. Absolutely embarrassing. Even Mauro Bueno Silva was a wasted add to the game. But when I look at the men's featherweight division, number 9 ranked Movsar Evloev, who just beat Arnold Allen, who will be ranked number 4 come tomorrow, is not in the game, and he really should be. We're going to have a number 4 fighter not in the game. Movsar Evloev, huge win this weekend, should be put in the game. I hope to see him by April minimum. I mean, we're adding number 10 ranked Bryce Mitchell, and he's been brutally finished 2 of his last 3 fights. That should say a lot about the state of the division. Men's bantamweight, a fun division, always evolving, always going about stuff. Give me 13 ranked Umar Nurmagomedov. He's going to be a staple of the UFC for a while now. He's undefeated, cousin of Khabib. I mean, come on, get Umar in the game. And number 14 ranked Mario Batista, who's on a 6-fight win streak himself. He's a fun fighter. I know he's kind of low in the rankings, so they might be hesitant to add him, but I would enjoy seeing him if the UFC would be so kind. If the UFC would be so kind, or EA Sports, who's ever in control. And men's flyweight, who is always a neglected division, we don't have the number 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15 fighters. They have like no one. They have the champion, Alexander Pantoja. They have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. They have the number 4, 1 through 4, 7, and 10. All right. It's embarrassing, the game for that. But the ads that I really want to see, to sum this all up, is I want to see Movsar Evloev. I want to see Brendan Allen in the game. Those are 2 fighters I want to see. And Benoit Saint-Denis. Those 3, Movsar Evloev, Brendan Allen, and Benoit Saint-Denis. Give me them all in the game, and I'll be happy, Dana. All right, Dana White, you don't want to make me upset, do you? Maybe he does. Dana White has so much power, he can do whatever he so chooses. Let's keep this moving along to an interesting thing. What went down this weekend, ladies and gentlemen? The NFL Divisional Round. We had 4 electric games. Well, no, there weren't 4 games. Actually, there were 4 games this weekend. They were all fun. A lot of fun stuff went down. And I went perfect. I went a perfect 4 for 4 on my predictions. You would want a lot of money if you'd have told me. And I was the closest on 2 of the games for score. How about that? Of course, I dropped my scores, and I compete against my family. So it was a fun little weekend. I was able to catch all the games pretty much. Maybe not in full, because honestly, not all of them deserve to be watched in full. But we did go about it. So let's talk about everything that went down, starting off, because, we're going to talk about fantasy football as well. Of course, I do my little fantasy football league. We kicked off the NFL Divisional Round with the number 1 seeded Ravens and the number 4 seeded Houston Texans. Ravens win 34-10, their 14th win of the season for the Ravens. And the Texans will come up short, but C.J. Stroud, rookie year with this young Texans team, did an amazing job. Nothing to knock you, CJ. You were you're absolutely electric this year, but I'm sorry. Lamar Jackson gave you the deeds. Just from the get-go. From the get-go, there was just no stopping him. The first quarter, okay, it started off 3-3. Looking pretty even. All right, second quarter, touchdown from Nelson Aguilar, punt return from Steven Sims, and then that was all we got from the Texans. Their offense did nothing the second half, so only a field goal from the offense. Lamar, 4 touchdowns on the day, a touchdown in the third, and 2 touchdowns and a field goal in the fourth secured this 34-10 victory. Looking at total yards, I mean, just some crazy stats for you guys here. 352 to 213. Amazing effort from the Ravens defense in this game. Passing yards, 175 to 123 in favor of the Texans. The rushing yards, Ravens ran all over the Texans, 229 to 38. Lamar was incredible. Gus was doing his thing. I mean, Justice was getting the ball. Everyone was doing what they could. 22 first downs to 10 in favor of Baltimore. That is incredible. Baltimore ran 20 more plays than the Texans. Now, oddly enough, Lamar was sacked 3 times, when CJ was not sacked at all, which I do find pretty interesting. Penalty yards, this is one of the key stats here. 11 penalties called on the Texans, only 3 on Baltimore. So were the refs being stingy, or was the Texans just struggling? I think it was the Texans struggling. Time of possession, 22 minutes for the Texans, 37 and a half minutes for the Ravens. This wasn't the Texans' day. CJ, 19 for 33, had no turnovers, threw for 175 yards. That's all they got done. 22 rushing yards from Devin, 9 from CJ, 7 from Dare Ogunbowale. I mean, they were held in check by this Ravens defense. Nico Collins, 5 catches for 68 yards. Devin Singletary, 5 catches for 48 yards. And Dalton Schultz, 5 catches for 43 yards was all that we got. I mean, Desmond King II, Blake Cashman, and Kurt Hinch all got sacks. That's all I can give you. That is all I can give you guys. Just wasn't your day. Ravens proved that they are dominant. And Lamar, with the Lamar curse, of course, the Lamar playoff curse, snapping it in half. No more curse at the moment. Lamar, 16 for 22, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. He was getting it done there. 11 carries for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, Lamar Jackson was on another realm, securing, just putting a little emphasis that he is the MVP of this season of the NFL. Justice Hill, 13 carries for 66 yards. Gus, 10 carries for 4 yards. And Dalvin Cook was given 8 carries, managed to get 23 yards. Wow, they're trying to get that boy a ring. Receiving-wise, Zay Flowers, 4 catches, 41 yards. Rashad Bateman, 3 catches, 39 yards. Isaiah Likely and Nelson Aguilar caught the only 2 touchdowns. Odell Beckham, only 1 catch for the day. And shout out to Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen for both getting 5 tackles. Very nice stuff. From the Ravens defense, I predicted the score to be 42-20. My dad had 35-27. We were both 18 away, of course, from being correct. So good stuff to both of us. He got 13 points in picks points this weekend. I got 16. My mom got 3, and Lexi got 11. Checking out fantasy, Lamar Jackson, 36.08. I mean, it just makes sense. Amazing stuff. My friend Tyler had him in our little 4-man fantasy league. He'll be advancing to the conference championship. And honestly, I don't know. Them and the Chiefs, that's going to be an excellent game. I feel like the 49ers and Lions, the 49ers are an easy pick for favorite, but this Ravens and Chiefs matchup is going to be very, very interesting. But my buddy Landon had Gus Edwards, only 4.9 points from Gus. Just not giving us much in this one. None whatsoever. No one really had any Texans players in this one. I don't think anyone did. Did I even have a Ravens player? I had the Ravens defense. They got me 9 points. Zay Flowers got me 8.1. You know, they were doing their part, I suppose. And Dane has Justin Tucker got 13 kicking points this game. I mean, proven that he is just as amazing as any other kicker in this league. The GOAT kicker for a lot of people. Baltimore Ravens, I will see you in the next round. 14-4 currently on the year. Amazing stuff from the Ravens and Texans. I can't recall. I think I missed the start of this game, but I did watch like the whole rest of it at my buddy's house. We were playing some, what were we doing? We were playing some drinking games. I don't know what we were doing, but it was a good time. Divisional round, Packers, 49ers. This was an interesting one. This was a grind. This was a very close game. Came down to the wire, but the 49ers pull off in the end with a 10-0 fourth quarter, 24-21. They're going to the NFC Championship. And we can all thank Jordan Love for throwing a pick when the game mattered. First quarter, only 1 field goal from the Packers. I was getting worried we were going to see another Packers blowout win. Second quarter gets us going. George Kittle touchdown, Eric Carlson field goal. Then had it 7-6. Third quarter, we finally got some touchdowns running. Bo Melton touchdown, Tucker Kraft touchdown, and a Christian McCaffrey touchdown. Had it 21-14 Green Bay heading into the fourth. Jake Moody, though, would hit a 52-yarder. Christian McCaffrey would run it in with a minute left. And Anders Carlson would, of course, miss a field goal, just as I expected he would. He misses a kick every game. And then on the final play, Jordan Love throws a pick. Actually, on the final drive, not even the final play. And with the 1-minute drill, he throws a pick. Typical Packers fashion. I absolutely loved to see it. Total yards, it was pretty even, 356, 330 in favor of the 49ers. Passing yards in favor of the 49ers. Rushing yards in favor of the Packers. Honestly, this was just an even game. There's really nothing that really points, that really gets me. The 2 picks from Jordan Love was pretty much the determinant of who was going to win this game. Honestly, close game, though, for the 49ers team, which was pretty dominant. This was kind of a rude awakening. But then again, the Packers were on an absolute heater these last few weeks. Jordan Love, 21 for 34, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. But leading this Packers team to the divisional round in your first year starting, your future is very bright. Aaron Jones, 18 carries for 108 yards, was absolutely good, doing amazing. No touchdown, though. No rushing touchdown from Aaron Jones. Receiving-wise, Romeo Doubs, 4 catches, 83 yards. He's a good wide receiver, I'll give him that. Jaden Reed, 4 catches, 35 yards. Bo Melton, 1 catch, 19-yard tutty. Good for Bo. Luke Musgrave, 3 catches for 14 yards. Christian Watson, only 1 catch for 11 yards. And Tucker Kraft, 3 catches. One of those was for a touchdown. Very, very cool. Dontavian Wicks, did nothing. Did absolutely nothing. No turnovers. Quay Walker did have a 5-tackle, 4-assist game. It's pretty good from Quay. Packers team, man, the NFC North is going to be competitive these next few years. I don't know, but I'm thinking the Vikings. Once we get a healthy team, Vikings will be able to handle business. We'll speak about the Vikings another day as we got to talk about the 49ers offense. Brock Purdy, 23 for 39, 252 yards and 1 touchdown. Some games he looks like a system QB. Other days he looks like a star. Seemed to be a system QB day, and Christian McCaffrey put this team on his back. 17 carries, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. If Lamar didn't exist, here's your MVP. He even had 7 catches for 30 yards. Fantasy monster. George Kittle, 4 catches, 81 yards, and the only touchdown caught by a 49ers wide receiver. Juwan Jennings, 5 catches, 61 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 3 catches, 30 yards, doing pretty good. Debo, 2 catches, 24 yards, but did not play in the second half. Hopefully he's not injured, as I do have him in fantasy football. And a shout out to Dre Greenlaw, all right, who got both of the picks. 6 tackles, 2 assists. I'm giving him MVP of this game. Dre Greenlaw, I'm sorry, Christian McCaffrey, a 2-touchdown, 98-yard rushing game is insane. But when a defensive player gets more than 1 pick, I got to give them respect where respect is due. So, amazing stuff for the 49ers as they will move on. And shout out to Lexi, my girlfriend, 30-17. She was closest on the score, just by a bit. Just beat me by a bit. But my mom picked the Packers. I don't know why you did that, Mom. I don't know why you put faith in the Packers. All right, you got to listen to the pod. Everyone listen to this podcast. I got the picks. I got the locks. Chris McCaffrey, 31.8 fantasy points. I'm really liking his odds against the Lions' rushing defense, so expect big things in the conference championship game. Looking at my fantasy team, I had Debo, so he only got me 4.4, but George Kittle had me 18.1. I was very happy with that. My buddy Landon, did he have anyone? I don't know. I don't actually think Landon had anyone in this game. I know Tyler did. Tyler had Jordan Love, who got 12.06, a 10-point drop-off from his excellent wildcard game. He also had Brandon Ayuk, who got him 6.2. Yeah, that's about everything. I'll talk about total scores heading into the conference round once we get through all of the games. Heading into Sunday, I came in, wasn't even hungover from my nightly escapades. Was very responsible. Woke up. Did have to get my car, though. Did some grocery shopping, picked up some McDonald's, and then I watched what, honestly, I don't know. This might have been game of the week, or game of the divisional round. I'm probably going to give it to Chiefs and Bills, but Buccaneers and Lions did not disappoint. This was competitive. Both teams showed they wanted it, but Lions come out in the end 23-31, and the Detroit Lions get their 14th win of the season. Amazing stuff. But let me just say, Baker Mayfield took a doomed Bucs team to the divisional round. Amazing stuff from Baker Mayfield. You've earned a starting quarterback position for another year in the league. And if the Buccaneers make some changes, I don't really know what. Rachaad White was a stud. You cannot go wrong with Mike Evans. And what? Oh my gosh, who's the number? Mike Godwin and Chris Godwin. Honestly, they kept trying to pass to Otton, the tight end, and it was just not working. I was questioning why they kept doing it over and over and over, and I could not find an answer. It was honestly ridiculous. But the game is competitive, back and forth, and scores were being matched up until the fourth quarter. I mean, first quarter, field goal from both teams. Second quarter, touchdown from both teams, including a 2-minute drive from Baker Mayfield to end the quarter. Touchdown with 15 seconds left. Third quarter, you get Craig Reynolds rushing touchdown and a Rachaad White screen pass touchdown. Fourth quarter, though, Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown put up the Lions up by 14. Mike Evans was able to get a touchdown, and then a questionable decision. Down by only 8. They chose to go for 2 points instead of kicking it. Did not work out for the Bucs. They get the ball back with under 2 minutes, and on the second play of their drive, Baker Mayfield throws a pick. Absolutely heartbreaking, sad to see, but the Detroit Lions are going to the conference championship, a chance to go to their first Super Bowl. I wish them nothing but luck. This was a pretty wild playoffs divisional round, as the Bills, Texans, and Lions had never made it to the Super Bowl. Bills and Texans will not be going to the Super Bowl, but the Lions still could. Total yards pretty even. I mean, the Lions defense did give up 408 to the Bucs, 319 passing yards, 114 rushing yards for the Lions was a big discrepancy, big difference. 71 total plays for the Lions compared to 60 for the Bucs. Pretty interesting. 4 sacks allowed for the Buccaneers, 2 sacks allowed on Jared Goff by the Lions, and 2 picks by Baker. Was what really nailed the difference. I will say, time of possession, 28 minutes exactly for the Bucs, 32 exactly for the Lions. Pretty crazy how those are exact numbers. Baker Mayfield ends his first season with the Bucs, 349 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. He was letting it fly all game. Rachaad White, only 9 carries for 55 yards. It was a passing game. Mike Evans, 8 catches, 147 yards, and a touchdown. So maybe the Lions' run defense is better than their backfield. I think that might be the case. Cade Otton, 5 catches, 65 yards, 1 touchdown. Chris Godwin, 4 catches, 4 yards. Rachaad White, 4 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Very cool stuff there. And who got the picks? No picks from Jared Goff. How about that? Chase McLaughlin, 1 for 2 on field goals. Hit 1 from 43. Yeah, kickers miss field goals. Tale of the weekend. Lions, Jared Goff, 30 for 43, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amazing work, Jared Goff. Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 runs, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Excellent. David Montgomery, only 10 rushes for 33 yards. They just weren't utilizing him. On a 4th and goal, though, they did use Craig Reynolds to punch in a touchdown from the 1-yard line. Very cool. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches, 77 yards, a touchdown. It don't get much better than that. Sam Laporta, 9 catches, 65 yards. Dude's the best tight end in the league at the moment. I'm sorry, Travis. I'm sorry. You had a good game, but Sam Laporta is balling. Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 catches, 4 yards. Brock Wright, 1 catch for 29 yards. And Josh Reynolds, 2 catches. 1 was for a touchdown. Your picks men's were Derek Barnes and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Excellent work. And Brian Branch had 8 tackles with 1 assist. Crazy stuff from him. Actually, Ifitu Melifonwu had 6 tackles with 3 assists. Very good stuff. Lions and 49ers. Man, that is going to be a close game. Oh my goodness. I don't even know who to pick for that. I don't know who to pick for that. I'm just kidding. I'm going with the 49ers. But Lions, I wish you luck. Lions. I predicted you to win this. My dad was closest. He had it 27-24. I had 27-21. But I do think they can beat the 49ers. I think that, Brock Purdy, they choked last year. 49ers team clearly likes to play close games. They've been blown out by the Ravens. Lions, you need to come in with some luck. The downfall is that this will be a home game. And as we all know, the 49ers did pretty good at home. What was their home record again this season? They went, including this game, they went 6-3 at home. They actually had a better road record. How about that? Lions on the road, they've gone 6-3. This will be an interesting clash. Wow, just the script writers did an amazing job with this one. My goodness, my absolute goodness. Fantasy-wise, Jahmyr Gibbs gets 21.4 points for Mr. Tyler Brishke. He'll move on. I don't see any Buccaneers players. I don't think anyone took any Buccaneers players. No one was expecting them to make it past the first round. I know. I had some people. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. He got 21.7. Dave Montgomery only got 7.7. He wasn't doing too much. And, Dane has no more players left. Very interesting. We'll talk about the last game real quick right now. Of course, we ended things with an absolute masterpiece. The Chiefs visited the Bills, and this came down all the way to the end. Chiefs win 27-24. Their season continues with their 13th win. The Bills will end with 12 wins on the year. Another heartbreaking loss, and this Bills franchise is going to be turned upside down. I can already tell. I mean, every game started off pretty slow in the first quarter. A field goal from both men, 27-yarder from Tyler Bass, 47-yarder from Harrison Butker. Second quarter, touchdown, two running touchdowns from Josh Allen, 29-yarder from Harrison Butker, and a 22-yard Travis Kelce touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes. Had it 17-13 Bills heading into the second half. But Travis Kelce got us going on the opening drive at the touchdown. Then Khalil Shakir caught a touchdown to end the quarter. And it was 24-20 Buffalo. But then, to kick off the fourth quarter, Isaiah Pacheco would run in a 4-yarder, and it would be back and forth until the final play of the game, where Tyler Bass would miss a field goal to lose them the game. And actually, now that I'm saying it, it wasn't the final play of the game. They still had time on the clock, but he missed it, and the defense did not come up big. Chiefs were able to kneel it out. Yeah, Chiefs. Oh my gosh. Patrick Mahomes is literally Josh Allen's father. He cooks them. He provides for the family. Josh Allen will not be provided for anymore. He's kicked out of the playoffs, and I mean, heartbreaking, but Chiefs are a dynasty. Patrick Mahomes has now played 6 seasons as a starting quarterback in the NFL and has made the AFC Championship game in all 6. Man, if he continues at this pace, he could be the greatest player of all time. He honestly could. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got a couple rings behind Tom Brady, but if he continues at this pace, we could be witnessing history. Pretty even matchup. I mean, honestly, the rushing yards for the Bills is all that stands out to me, 182 to 146. Chiefs did have more yards per play at 7.7. Bills had 4.7. Third down efficiency, 50% for the Bills, 7-14. Chiefs were only on third down 5 times today. This is crazy, though. 47 total plays for the Chiefs, 78 for the Bills. Bills had the ball a lot of time. Chiefs defense, man, they're legit. Chiefs had 1 fumble. That was just about it. Bills time of possession, 37 minutes to 22 for the Chiefs. I mean, just absurd. This Chiefs defense really, really coming in clutch in this game. Patrick Mahomes, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, only 6 incompletions. Typical Patrick Mahomes performance. Isaiah Pacheco, 15 carries, 97 yards for a touchdown. He's amazing. I don't know how. Isaiah Pacheco kind of came out of nowhere. Travis Kelce finally back to his prime form. 5 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Love to see it. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 2 catches for 62 yards. Rashee Rice, 4 catches for 47 yards. And any sacks? No. Good blocking from the Bills. Josh Allen, 186 yards and a passing touchdown. But his 12 carries for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns was really what showed. I mean, he showed he can run the ball well. James Cook, only 61 yards on 18 carries. Ty Johnson, number 26 running back, got 7 carries for 40 yards. So random, they kept running it with him. And, of course, they had a failed punt, a fake punt attempt with DeMar Hamlin getting the ball. The scriptwriters were trying to cook, and the Chiefs were like, no, absolutely not. No idea why they did that. Just terrible play calling from the Bills. Dalton Kincaid, 5 catches for 45 yards. Khalil Shakir, 7 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, only 3 catches for 21 yards. Unbelievable. I mean, I was actually in shock just how poorly Stephon Diggs has been doing. But as you know, a wide receiver is only as good as his quarterback. This should be taken into account by all sports fans. Looking at the family picks, I was the only one that picked the Chiefs. I was the only one of my friends rooting for the Chiefs. So even though my score prediction of 38-29 was very off, I get the extra points because the Chiefs won, man. Chiefs won. I'm closing on my dad, man. It's going to be interesting. But Chiefs-Ravens for the AFC Conference Championship, a Super Bowl spot on the line, is absolutely amazing. We do have the game times for next Sunday. Chiefs will play the Ravens at 2 o'clock, and the Lions will play the 49ers at 5:30. Personally, I feel the Chiefs and Ravens will be a more exciting game, but I think if the Lions make it, that'll just be kind of the icing on the cake for just shocker over the year. They've had an amazing run. They play their number one team. And as for the Chiefs, this team, which was not as good as past Chiefs teams, has somehow made it back here. Ravens 49ers is the favorite in Super Bowl. But man, if the Chiefs and Lions make it, that would be pretty crazy. I'll be interested to see what happens. All my predictions for the conference games will be coming this Thursday for our next episode. Oh, but for fantasy football, yes, Tyler, he had, who did he have? He had Travis Kelce, who got 24.5, amazing stuff, Travis, and Harrison Butker, who got 10 kicking points. For 122.44 divisional round points, he's sitting at 260.91 overall. He still has Harrison Butker, Travis Kelce, Brandon Ayuk, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Lamar to play. He's probably the favorite to win. Landon currently leading with 267.6 fantasy points. After putting up 206 in the wildcard round, has only 61 in the division round. He does have Patrick Mahomes, Gus Edwards, and Rashee Rice to play, but man, Bills D coming up with only 4 for him. Tyler Bass only coming up with 5. Rashee Rice 8.7 and Patrick Mahomes 18.5. I mean, by the way, Patrick Mahomes got 18.48 in the wild card and 18.5 in the divisional round. Dude is putting up some similar stats in back-to-back games. Pretty interesting. As for me, I'm trailing with 224.03, but I have the most players. I still have Isaiah Pacheco, who got 17.57 this week. David Montgomery, Mon-Ra St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Zay Flowers, George Kittle, Ravens, how about that? So I'm pretty much rooting for a I'd probably rooting for a Lions-Ravens Super Bowl, which is one of the more unrealistic options. But and as for Dane, 204.56 in last. 31.8 points from Christian McCaffrey, 13 for Justin Tucker are good, but he only has Justin Tucker and Christian McCaffrey left. So, I mean, hell, if the Ravens and 49ers make it, he could be sitting pretty, but a lot to come. No money on the line, just good time, just good fun with the fellas. I wish I would have done this with more people, because it is kind of fun doing this playoff football where you draft players before the playoffs begin, and those players have to last you the whole playoffs. It becomes pretty interesting. It is a lot of fun, and we got one more thing to talk about here on the podcast, and that is our UFC 297 review. Of course, I'm pumped for this. I love talking about UFC, and also it's nice to have a little chill episode. Not too long. Shouldn't be too long today. Might be able to end it under an hour and a half, which is rare because there were days I used to fight to get to an hour, and now every episode I can never get under an hour. I just have too much to share, too much information to throw at you guys. But yes, UFC 297 went down. It happened. We went 6 for 6 on picks, and that's not a 100% rate. That's a 50% rate. 6 out of 12 correct. 6 right, 6 wrong. Because I put all my hope in Canadian male fighters, and they all let me down. It was wild. It was wild watching Canadian after Canadian just lose and lose and lose, and I was just in shock. I was like, are you kidding me? You guys are in your home country, your home nation. You're supposed to be having an amazing game, and they just weren't. They were sucking so hard. But on the year now, for main card we went 3-2. Main card, we went 3-2. I was surprised both the people I picked lost. I won't lie. The ones I was nervous about, I all got right. And the ones I was sure on, I got wrong. So that should say a lot about my confidence. All time, though, we are sitting at 515 correct, 364 incorrect since I began this predictions way back in 2020. Of course, I didn't have a podcast channel. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I would legit sit in my basement, make them to myself, and kind of act like I had my own little show. It was kind of sad when you think about it. But you know what? Let's talk about all the fights that went down. So on the year, actually, because I am going to keep track of my yearly predictions for full cards, because I do make full card picks, but I only count my main card as official. But unofficially, if we include the prelims, I'm 14-9 now on the year. Yikes. But if we think about it, if I'd ran a six leg parlay, I would have won some money. But the most famous, the most popular parlay could have been if you'd have had Neil Magny, Hawker Pennington, and Driscus Duplessis. That's like a +7. It would have been a +700 parlay, which would have won you easily over $1,000. Because when you parlay, it adds even more stuff to it. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, let's get right into it. Let's not delay. We kicked off the night with Jimmy Flick and Malcolm Gordon. Malcolm Gordon, Canadian boy, representing his home country, and I knew he wouldn't win. But this was a grind, man. This was a grind for Jimmy Flick. I mean, we kicked off round 1. And it was just competitive off the get-go. And Jimmy Flick was all about the takedown. Malcolm Gordon instead took him down, was dominating him, laying on the punches. I mean, 55 total strikes to 4, 19 significant strikes to 0. Jimmy Flick had 2 submission attempts. I mean, nothing was going his way. And then round 2, he just, he's getting pieced up by Malcolm Gordon, and he took him down, submitted him. I mean, and he locked an arm triangle from half guard, and it was tight, and Malcolm Gordon had to tap, and Jimmy Flick might have just saved his UFC career. He had been finished. He'd been TKO'd in back-to-back fights. This was the final fight on his contract. And guess what? He might just save his career. But as for Malcolm Gordon, he's now been finished in 3 straight fights. He is 2-5 in the UFC. All those losses, he's been finished. So Malcolm Gordon, bye-bye. I had Jimmy Flick round 1 submission. He got down in round 2. So you know what? Not too shabby. Jimmy, you're not too bad of a flyweight. This was his 15th submission win, and he's now 17-7. Jimmy the Brick Flick got us the Canadians going. This had so much promise. It was so much promise after this. I was just amazed. I was amazed. But yeah. Moving on, I had Jasmine Jasudavich winning by unanimous decision. I knew she was going to beat Priscilla Cachoeira. But the fact that she just destroyed Priscilla Cachoeira, I mean, oh my gosh, a round 3 submission from Jasmine Jasudavich. A little anaconda choke too. How rare is that? Get this. 326 total strikes to 26. She had 300 more total strikes. The most, I think this is a record. She set a record. Utter domination from Jasmine. She was showing the Canadian boys how it's done. She was like, let me humble you all real quick. Absolutely wild. Oh my goodness. Round 1, I mean, Jasmine came in just with a fury, took her down, and just would not stop beating on her. 138 total strikes to 5. Round 2 comes around, okay? 110 significant strikes to 2, and she didn't even land a takedown. Round 3, 78 total strikes to 19. Ref had seen enough. I mean, my goodness. And I won't lie, Matthew Roca took his sweet time stopping this one. Of the freaking almost 15 minutes this went down. This was like a 14-minute, 39-second fight. 11 minutes and 25 seconds of control time on only 2 takedowns for Jasmine Jasudavich. I mean, come on, Jasmine. You are a stud. And after losing to Tracy Cortez last year in September at UFC Noche, this was a great rebound win for her. And since 2022, I mean, she's gone 3-1. Only losses are to Tracy Cortez. Actually, in the UFC, her only losses are to Natalie Silva and Tracy Cortez by unanimous decision. By the way, those women are currently ranked number 10, and where's Natalie Silva at 9? So her only losses are decision losses, which she didn't even do bad in, to the number 9 and 10 or whatever. Women in the women's flyweight division. Jasmine, you were very impressive. Very impressive in this one. As for Priscilla Cachoeira, now been submitted in round 3 in back-to-back fights. Yeah, she might have to go. She clearly has no ground game. She's really only a striker. But I was happy that Jasmine got it done. Very, very cool. Very cool. Only her second submission win of her career. Only her 4th finish of her UFC career of her 10 fights. Jasmine, trust me, you'll be sticking around. Keeping us rolling, Johan was the beginning of the end, the very beginning of the end for Canadian. Actually, Malcolm Gordon, I forgot Malcolm Gordon was actually the true beginning, but you could just tell after Johan lost that there was something up with these Canadian fighters. Sam Patterson, who had just been brutally knocked out by Yanal Ashmaz in March of last year, I was thinking wouldn't bring it, but instead, literally Sam Patterson took down Johan and submitted him in 2 minutes. Either just took down, submitted him with a rear naked chokehold, then that was that. I mean, that was all that. Like, there's nothing to talk about. A 2-minute submission. By the way, Jasmine got performance bonus. No performance bonus for Sam Patterson, but I there's his 6th submission of his career. Good job. But Johan Lainez has now been submitted in round 1 in back-to-back fights. And in his UFC career, he's gone 1-3 and been finished in all 3 of those losses. So, Johan, you're definitely gone. As for Sam Patterson, you know what? You won on the Contender Series in Season 6. You've gone 1-1. You avenged your UFC loss. I'm happy to see what Sam Patterson brings. And also, he's a 6'3" welterweight. I mean, he's a tall boy. If you want to know size-wise, Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman are like 5'10 and 5'11. So, Sam Patterson brings the height. He's a little skinny boy, too. Sam, happy for you that you're able to get a win here. Johan, man, I thought you would get a little TKO here. I thought you'd come up with some fire. You brought out no fire. Sam, sorry I doubted you. Our second women's fight of the night, and honestly, did not disappoint at all. And it would be the last time a Canadian won on this card, as Jillian Robertson gets a TKO over Poliana Viana. And round 1, I mean, Jillian took her down, almost 4 minutes of control time, hunting for submissions. Jillian Robertson, she is amazing. She's amazing. And by the way, she has submitted Rose Namajunas in grappling. She has amazing jiu-jitsu. And there was a crazy bet. There's a crazy bet for a Jimmy Flick, Jasmine Jassu Davicius, and Jillian Robertson submission. And the bettor was watching this fight. And instead, Jillian Robertson, when she had a clear submission attempt, chose to just TKO Poliana Viana in round number 2. 3 minutes in, gets the TKO win. Pretty funny watching the bettors lose their mind. Absolute bad beat. But Jillian Robertson, man, I was happy for her, man. I was happy for her. And honestly, 3-1 her last 4 fights. That only lost a unanimous decision to Tabitha Ritchie. By the way, is ranked number 12 at women's strawweight. Tabitha Ritchie, very good. Jane Robertson, amazing. Of that 3-1 run, by the way, all 3 of those are round 2 finishes. What is it? Jillian Robertson, that was her 2nd KO of her career. 2nd KO of her long, illustrious career. Wow, impressive stuff. Jillian. I was happy for you. Earns a performance bonus, very well deserved. Poliana Viana, you have now been submitted in you've now been finished in round 2 in back-to-back fights. 1-3 your last 4. Wow. I do not know how long Poliana will be around. She does do OnlyFans, I believe. I believe she cosplays. So maybe that could be her next full-time job. So how about that, boys and girls? How about that? 4 straight prelim fights. All finishes, vibes were high, and we kept those vibes going with our first decision of the night. And what I tell you, even though I picked Sergey Sadeh to win this fight, I told you all it would be fight of the night, okay? And if Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland did not exist, this would have been fight of the night. Ramon Taveras beat Sergey Sadeh by split decision in an absolute classic. I called it as being an amazing fight. I said fight of the night, I was being ambitious, but amazing stuff. And the tail of the tape was, all right, let me just tell you the tail of the fight, is that Roman Taveras, all right, had Sergey bloody, but Sergey was pushing the pace more. And this was a very close fight. I mean, totals from the fight, Sergey Sadeh, 79 significant strikes to 62. Ramon did get a round 2 knockdown, so that was played a factor. 81 total strikes to 62 in favor of Sergey. 0 for 4 in takedowns for Sergey Sadeh. So, it was a very, very, very cool, very interesting fight. It was bloody. I was with all my boys. It was getting pretty intense. Actually, we're getting a spam risk caller live on the podcast. This is actually a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Let's see what the spam risk has to say. Hello? Okay, they must be trying to use my voice to steal my information. I thought we were going to get someone fun. I can never get a good telemarketer on here. I was like, we're going to have a live podcast moment. No, nothing fun. I'm not even going to edit that out. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, Sergey Sadeh, Roman Taveras. I mean, round 1, Ramon is outstriking him 22-17. He takes round 1. Round 2, very tricky. As Sergey was beating him on the feet, but then did get dropped. He kind of rebounded very quickly from it. Round 3, Sergey was pushing the pace more, was getting pieced up, did have more total strikes. At the end of the day, this was a very close decision. Very could have gone either man's way, and Ramon Taveras gets the win. 2nd straight win in his little run here. Of course, fought on day one's Contender Series back in October. And as for Sergey, I mean, this was a rematch against Ramon. He lost. It was close, though. these guys will both be in the UFC for a long time. And then even Ramon Tavares said this, I'll run back that fight. I'm sure we'll have a rematch. We're 1-1. We'll meet each other down the line. These two are absolute studs. Sergey was Canadian. He was Canadian. I think he was from like Kyrgyzstan though or something. But heck, does snap his 6-fight winning streak. That sucks. But this was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Very much enjoyed that fight. Then we began our streak of just doozies. Sean Woodson, Charles Jourdain. Sean Woodson, I just don't like you, Sean. I'm sorry, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's the fact that you were facing a fan favorite in Charles Jourdain, who was, in Canada, his home country, and Sean fought the typical just technical striking battle, and he had length. He had height. I told you this dude had 5 inches in height on him, 9 inches in reach, And, he just pieced up Charles Jourdain the whole fight. 80 significant strikes to 60. It was a casual striking bout. Round 1, 31-18. Casually outstrikes him. 28-22. Casually outstrikes him. Round 3, Charles Jourdain was only one behind, 21-20. And this was a split decision, so, it should add something. Charles was able to kind of push the pace a bit in round 2. Could have gone either man's way, but it was definitely in favor of Sean Woodson, okay? And it was a very awkward moment where Bruce Buffer, I could tell, was having some trouble with the split decision, as he said, Judge whatever scores it 29-28 for Sean Woodson. And then Judge 2 scores it 29-28 for Charles Jourdain. And this is exactly how he said the winner. And the winner, Judge whatever, scores the contest 29-28 for your winner by split decision, Charles Woodson. And it sounded like Charles Jourdain and the ref raised Charles Jourdain's hand, and Sean began to walk away disappointed. Charles started celebrating. And then DC comes in and goes, "No, Sean, you won." He said Sean Woodson, but it sounded like Charles Woodson or something. And then Charles was sad, and everyone started booing. But you know what, Sean Woodson? I'll give you your respect. It doesn't matter if I don't like your style. That's not what matters. He's on a little 5-fight unbeaten streak, only 1 draw, 4 wins in there. You know what? He's stringing them together. And a big win over Charles Jourdain, who for no reason was added to UFC EA Sports 5. There's no need for that. But it does suck. It does suck to see Charles lose this one. But as for what should be next for Sean Woodson, give this man a grappler. Does he deserve a shot up the rankings? I don't know. Him versus Alex Caceres intrigues me. Him versus, who did MMA Theory? Very fun guy I follow on the Instagram. Always doing amazing proposals for who should fight each other. Let me actually find who he said Sean Woodson should fight, because it was an excellent. He said Bryce Mitchell. I love that because Sean Woodson has not fought a grappler. He has fought strikers, so no one's been really able to push his. Because when you're a tall guy with lanky arms and you fight strikers, you can just stand on the outside and just clip them. Okay. Now, for someone like Bryce Mitchell, who's going to be trying to take you down all the time, that could prove something interesting. So I agree with MMA Theory. Bryce Mitchell could be a very fun opponent. Plus, Bryce Mitchell really needs to fight someone lower capability. Stop giving him top guys like Utopia and Josh Emmett, who are literally, who have fought for belts, who are going to fight for belts in the past year. So, man, good stuff for Sean Woodson. Charles Jourdain. It was just the luck of the Canadians tonight. And then Garrett Armfield took on Brad Katona, and I do not understand. First off, Garrett Armfield, I'm sorry I didn't pick you. I'm sorry. You knocked out Toshimi Kazama back in August. I was kind of a hater. I'm like, Brad Katona is going to give you the deeds. Brad Katona is going to submit you. And Brad just looked lost out there. Almost like, he looked like how like an Ultimate Fighter, someone coming off the Ultimate Fighter who's not UFC ready. He got outstruck by Garrett. 130-76, significantly 105-64. By the way, Garrett Armfield landed at 62% land rate. That's impressive. Brad Katona's only game plan was takedowns. He went 4 of 9 for 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Best round was round 3, which he actually got outstruck 33-19, but almost got 3 minutes of control time. It's only the real round to give him. Garrett outstruck him in the previous 2. Garrett Armfield, a little 2-fight win streak. As for I don't even know if Brad Katona should come back after that. Because, after putting on a fight of the night war against Coy Gibson, you do that in your home nation of Canada? Embarrassing, Brad. Embarrassing. Garrett Armfield, good stuff for you. You will get your 10th professional victory. Good job, Garrett. Good job. I'm excited to see what comes to you next. I think MMA Theory proposed Brian Kelleher. I very much like that. The man who just got knocked out by Cody Garbrandt. Very, very fun stuff. That was the prelims. The first 4, amazing. Actually, the first 5, Ramon and Sergey was amazing. But Sean Woodson, Garrett Armfield, just brutal. Just brutal fights. Kicking off the main card, we had Movsar Evloev and Arnold Allen. And what do you know? Well, no, I said this would be a split decision, but Movsar got it done. Movsar Evloev, ranked number 9, will jump up to the number 4 spot as he beat Arnold Allen by unanimous decision. Tail of the fight, I mean, what'd I tell you? Significant strikes, 59-51 in favor of Arnold, but takedowns 5 of 17 for 3.5 minutes. Movsar just had the pressure. He had that Merab Dvalishvili pressure. And this was very interesting. So round one, Arnold could have won, but Movsar, he landed 2 takedowns, minute and a half of control time. It was pretty evident. Okay, but that was probably one of the more better rounds. Round 2, Movsar outstruck him by 3 on the feet, 2 of 2 on takedowns, almost minute control time. Another close round. Arnold Allen in the third, though, came alive, 29-17 in significant strikes, defended 5 takedowns, and landed some knees, which were ruled. They were very close to being grounded knees. Movsar kept throwing his hand down, and the knees kept landing, so the ref stopped it for a bit, gave it a break. But could have gone either way. But I just feel the right man won. And Movsar Evloev improves to 18-0, and is just an insane 8-0 in the UFC. Arnold Allen, a little 2-fight losing streak now, but those losses are now to Max Holloway and Movsar Evloev, who is 18-0 now. So, Arnold can easily rebound from this. All right, dude is clearly talented. Dude knows how to box. Dude's just Movsar's night tonight. And Dana White said that it was a boring fight. Movsar did not take too kindly to that. And as we know, Movsar has some interesting takes on the world. But this is pretty funny. Of his 18 wins now, only 7 are by finish. He hasn't even got a finish in the UFC. Movsar is a grappler as they come. And in the UFC now, he has 9, 11, 20, 29, 33, 38 takedowns. 38 takedowns. If we look at how many he's attempted, it's well over 100. It's got to be well over 100. Movsar will now be ranked number 4, and I think sets him up perfectly to fight the winner or even loser of Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega, because we all know Max Holloway will take on Justin Gaethje. Arnold Allen will probably get bumped down to the number 6 spot in the rankings, I'm assuming. I could see Arnold Allen fighting Josh Emmett. I could see Arnold Allen rematching, or Arnold Allen versus the winner of Calvin Kattar and Aljamain Sterling could be good. Him versus Giga Chikadze could be good. A lot of options for Arnold Allen. Movsar, though, I really like him versus Brian Ortega. Could even do the Josh Emmett fight, but Movsar deserves a big name next. He really does. And I don't really see Max Holloway happening, but I will say Max Holloway has not really been tested against a grappler. He's been going up against strikers. Could be a potential option. Movsar, very happy for you. I didn't think this fight was, you know what? It wasn't. It was kind of boring. But as someone who was rooting for Movsar and kind of likes that Dagestani grappling where they just keep taking you over and over again, it wasn't too bad for me. Moving on next, middleweight action as what is he ranked now? Number 14 ranked Chris Curtis took on Canadian boy Marc-Andre Barriault. Mark, I'm sorry you lose a split decision, but, it was the luck of the Canadians tonight. And I honestly thought Chris Curtis would knock this boy out, but no, it went the distance. Verdict MMA. Of course, we have that on ZR 2002. Follow me for all my predictions for the main card. I drop my exact round XP and stuff. Every round was judged for Chris Curtis. Declan Woods and Eric Cullen both scored this 30-27 for Chris Curtis. Derek Cleary scores at 29-28 for Marc-Andre Barriault. There's just no way. There's no way Marc-Andre Barriault he didn't even win a round, honestly. The rounds were close, but Chris Curtis won every round. I mean, round 1, 23-18, outstruck him significantly in total. Round 2, 51-45, outstruck him significantly in total. Round 3, 66-59, significant strikes, 70-61 total strikes. Okay? Chris Curtis won this fight. The Action Man outboxed the power bar. But the issue is these two weren't friends, but they weren't enemies. They actually did promos leading up to this. This looked like a friendly sparring match. It's almost like when you fight your buddy for fun, like you two actually don't hate each other. Like I'm talking, you get punched in the face. You're kind of like, okay, let's go. And you bring it back to him, and then y'all are hugging afterwards. So, you know what? This was a great bounce back win for Chris Curtis, who had been on a terrible unlucky streak in 2023. Happy to see him get the win. I don't know if he's going to get a bump up from number 14 in the rankings, but certainly I see a fight with Paul Craig in his future, honestly. A fight with maybe even Kyle Brawl. I like a Paul Craig fight, actually. I'm standing by that Paul Craig thing. Marc-Andre Barriault, this was a good shot from him after coming off of 2 big wins in 2023. You know what? You'll go back to the drawing board. This isn't a bad loss. It shouldn't have been a split decision. It shouldn't have been a split decision, and Chris probably should have finished him. I won't lie. And I think this is the most shocking moment of the night. This is definitely the most shocking moment of the night, the most embarrassing moment of the night, as Mike Malott, in a fight he was dominantly winning, gets TKO'd with 15 seconds left against Neil Magny. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. His shot at the rankings, his shot at coming to stardom, he was just added to EA Sports UFC 5. And Mike Malott chokes at the buzzer. Oh my goodness. I could not believe it. And first off, here's the totals from the fight. 57-45, Neil Magny had more significant strikes. 110-100 total strikes in favor of Neil Magny. 1 of 2 on takedowns for almost 2 minutes for Neil Magny. 4 of 6 on takedowns for 6 minutes for Mike Malott. Okay? Round 1, Mike Malott. 20 significant strikes to 5 over Neil Magny. 20 total strikes to 12, okay? He was firmly in control of this fight, okay? Round 2, Mike decides to mix in some takedowns, even. 2 of 2, 3 minutes control time, 67 total strikes to 18, 21 significant strikes to 6. Then round 3 hits, and we saw Mike Malott fade like I didn't know anyone could. First off, lands 2 takedowns, 2.5 minutes of control time. Neil Magny then reverses it with under a minute left, lands on top, starts wailing on him. The significant strikes, which were then in favor of Mike Malott in the previous 2 rounds, at 41-11. Neil Magny reverses that and outstrikes him 46-4 in just like a little 2-minute span. 80 total strikes to 13. TKOs him, knocks him out from top mount. Oh my gosh. Neil Magny finishes Mike Malott. And want to know why this is more crazy? Want to know why this is the craziest thing? Is I just mentioned how Neil Magny had not gotten a TKO win since 2018. He hadn't gotten a finish since Daniel Rodriguez in 2022. Okay? And he finishes Mike Malott, who had been on, what was Mallott's win streak on? Mike Malott had been on a 6-fight win streak. He had a 100% finish rate, and he suffers his second career defeat. Wow. Utterly, utterly shocking. Neil Magny, the ultimate gatekeeper. And, I hated on him after the Phil Rowe fight. I hated on him after the Gilbert Burns. After the Ian Gary fight, Neil Magny, you can feed me my words. You are amazing, man. You are amazing. How about that? Neil Magny is what? He's like 36, too. How old is Neil? He's 36. Mike, man, I don't know what you do from here. I don't know what you do. How do you recover from this? You were winning. You were winning 2 rounds and a half. You had half a round left and you choke. Oh man, in Canada, his stock just plummeted. All right, I'm talking a plane into the ocean, a tragic plummet for Mike Malott. Neil Magny, good for you. Neil Magny remains ranked at number 13. Honestly, what do we do next with Neil? We have to reward him. We have to reward Neil Magny. Look, number 9, Vicente Luque doesn't have an opponent. I don't think Vicente and Neil Magny have ever done battle. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, I don't see any Neil Magny matchups with Vicente Luque. I say we do that. I'm going to reward Neil with a fight against Vicente Luque. I'm happy with that performance. As for Mike Malott, you know what? Back to the unranked pool. Back to the unranked pool. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of unranked welterweights. You're going to have to fight one of them. Crazy stuff. And he didn't get performance bonus. I would have given it to Neil, but the UFC doesn't really like when fighters are getting brutally destroyed and then come back with like a few seconds left, and not really fashionable fashion, not really like great fashion. Like Neil Magny literally just flipped him over, took him down, and landed in top mount, just wailed on him. I mean, it's like a mallet pounding in a nail. My goodness. And now what? As much as that fight wasn't too exciting, it was kind of crazy watching Neil win. And then I was at the bar with my 3 buddies, and I legit turned this fight off. I never turn fights off. Rarely, I turned my phone off for this fight. Not to save battery. This was just an awful fight. As Hawkwell Pennington wins a unanimous decision over Mayra Bueno Silva to become the new women's bantamweight champion. First off, congratulations to Hawkwell Pennington. You're good. Good for you, Hawkeye. You know, you're on what, a 5-fight win streak? I think it's 6, actually. Finally win the Women's Bantamweight Championship. Amazing. You'll have a fight with Julia Pena later in the year. Amazing stuff. Let's give Hawkwell Pennington her props. That was, oh my gosh, 6 straight wins. 6-fight win streak for Hawkwell Pennington. None of those fights have been fun to watch, you know, but you know what? Good for you. Good for you. I think she's a lesbian with someone. I don't know. Is that Real Donna? I don't think it's Real Donna. I know she has Tisha Torres, maybe. She has a wife in the UFC, but I don't remember who. That's for Mayra Silva, who was just at DA Sports UFC 5, who was my pick to end 2024 as Women's Bantamweight Champion, faded after round 1. How about that? Per round, let me read you round 1. Mayra Silva outstrikes Hawkwell 18-11 significantly. Takes her down twice, 3 minutes and 20 seconds of control time. All right, she was in control. And then just lost it. Proceeded to lose the next 4 rounds. And even more worse is Hawkwell Pennington wouldn't even finish her. She had so many attempts. I mean, Hawkwell Pennington had freaking 2 submission attempts in the final round. Mayra Silva threw up 3 in rounds 2 through 4 and couldn't get a finish. Like, oh my gosh, just killing me. Hawkwell Pennington outstrikes her 134-69. Total strikes 265-96. Now, Mayra Silva landed 3 of 9 takedowns, but Hawkwell Pennington just kept ending up on top. So it was boring. I'm pretty sure the fans are booing. I mean, just no excitement. And Mayra Silva, your stock has plummeted. You know what? She's ranked number 3. Drop her to 4 or 5. Drop her to 5. Punish her. Punish Mayra Silva. Hawkwell Pennington, though, I mean, she was ranked number 12 in the women's pound-for-pound ranking. She's going to shoot up to like 5, 4. She has to be 4. You have to put a champion at 4. Okay? She's not, don't put her above Valentina, but put her at 4. Put her above Julia Pena, Erin Blanchfield, Manfield Rod. She won the belt. Good for her. But yes, obviously, Julia Pena will be what's next for her. As for Mayra Silva, I mean, it could literally be any woman. Literally any woman that was bantamweight. Irene Aldana. I like that. I really like the Irene Aldana. Caitlin Vieira. Could even do that. You could do Norma Dumont. You could do Pan Kianzad. I don't really care. It was so boring. It was killing me. But we had to get over with. You know, I think even Dana knew we had to get this knocked out of the way. But, yikes. Just a yikes. The main event, the big hoorah, how we will end out this podcast. And I have to make dinner. Might even do a little DoorDashing. Gotta make a little money, honestly. The main event, as your middleweight champion, Sean Strickland defended the belt against Dricus du Plessis. And we had a changing of the guard. Du Plessis wins a split decision to become your new men's middleweight champion, but not without controversy, as a lot of people thought Sean Strickland won. Let's check out the stats. Stats tell a lot. First off, I was having trouble watching this. You know, I was out and about with the bar, so, you know, I was talking to people. I wasn't even drinking, really. I was focused on this event, but it was hard to focus. You know, people kept going up to me because I'm watching. They're like, bro, who do you got? And I go, Dricus du Plessis. And they're like, no, you got to pick Sean. So it was more funny when he won. But Sean Strickland, 173 significant strikes to 137 for du Plessis. By the way, his total strikes, 183 to 140 in favor of Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland threw 419 total strikes. Du Plessis threw 358. Du Plessis goes 6 for 11 on takedowns, only 2 minutes of takedown time. Every time he took down Sean was getting back up. Round 1, Sean clearly wins this one. The most clear round for Sean Strickland. Outstrikes him 34-18. Du Plessis might have landed 2 takedowns, but the striking got Sean this round. Round 2, though, Du Plessis outstruck him, landed a takedown. Du Plessis took that round, so it's 1-1. Round 3 and 4, the closest rounds of the fight. Round 3, it was a two strike difference in favor of Sean Strickland, 31-29. So we'll give him that round. Round 4, 4-point advantage for Sean, 33-29 significantly, but 3 of 5 on takedowns for Du Plessis gave him this round. So even Dana White said, a lot of people said it was 2-2 heading into the final round. And, you know, Sean kind of came alive. Outstruck him by 18, 53-35. Du Plessis went 0 for 2 on takedowns. Didn't even get control time on the takedown attempts. But managed to win the managed to win this fight. And, honestly, the rounds 2 to 4 through Du Plessis, I think, is the most applicable case. Rounds 1 and 5 to Sean Strickland. And I've seen that countless number of times in fights where a fighter wins the first round and the final round, but losing the in-between rounds is really what kills you. You could point out Volkanovski as an example of that. But you know what? Du Plessis wins. It was a close fight. Takedowns really played a difference. Sean was also bleeding from a headbutt. Sean was kind of accepting of it at the time, but then kind of went and tweeted and said, "I deserve a rematch. He clashed heads with me." And I was kind of like, who cares? I don't really care. I'm sorry. Du Plessis now on a 9-fight win streak. A perfect 7-0 in the UFC. And this is only the second time in his career that he's gone the distance in a win. Gets fight of the night. Very much deserved. I don't know. I kind of think Tavares and Sade should have won it, so my prediction would have been right. Honestly, I'm so surprised Du Plessis won a decision. I thought it was Du Plessis finish or Sean Strickland decision, but nah, absolutely crazy in this one. Impressive stuff, Du Plessis. I'm happy for you. I picked you. Okay, you actually saved me on this card from going negative. But man, nothing but a controversy surrounding him. All right, and sadly, he ate a lot of damage. His face was swollen. He had cuts. So your new middleweight champion will not, even if he thinks he could turn around for UFC 300 in April, he would never get cleared. He would never get cleared in 3 months to turn around. So middleweight division is now out of options for the main event of UFC 300. Who should he fight next? I mean, Adesanya, the fight is right there. I know people are saying Adesanya doesn't deserve it, but I mean, come on. The Marlon Vera fight, okay, versus Sean Strickland should not be happening, but it was there. We had to jump on it. And by the way, looking at how, Sean Strickland beat Adesanya compared to how Du Plessis beat Sean Strickland, I mean, it's pretty interesting to see, how close it was. What are the other options? Jared Cannonier, despite coming off a crazy performance against Marvin Vettori, is still a fight away. We're not going to give Robert Whittaker and Paulo Costa, the winner of that fight, a title shot. We're not going to give the winner of Brendan Allen and Marvin Vettori a title shot. Khamzat Chimaev, no matter how big his name is currently ranked 9. He needs a top guy. So I say we do Khamzat versus Adesanya or Khamzat versus Cannonier for the next title shot or something like that. But Du Plessis will be fighting later this year. And he was my pick to end the year as middleweight champion, slowly coming together. As for Sean Strickland, I mean, so many options for Sean. So many options. I mean, winner of Robert Whittaker and Paulo Costa, I love that option. Jared Cannonier rematch, I love that. Winner of Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen, storylines are both, I like that. Even the winner of Roman Dolidze and Nasruddin Imavov, I could see there's going to be a lot of options for Sean Strickland. But as for now, back to the drawing board. UFC 297, it gets let's actually see. Our grade will be based off of how good the fights were. First off, first 5 fights, starting us off 5 for 5. And then we get, I'm going to say 4 straight duds. Now we're 5-5. Neil Magny, Mike Mallet, the shock factor, that gets it 6-5. Dud with Hockwell Pennington. Vicious Du Plessis, pretty good. So 7-5. So on the scale, 7 divided by 12 gets us 58%. So this card gets an F. This card gets an F, but that's a little mean. But it is mean. I mean, the Canadian fights have so far sucked. All right, the last time they were here, UFC 289, it sucked. All right, the best moment was Charles Oliveira winning. Best moment on this card, I don't even know. The main event was good, but kind of sloppy. But who doesn't love a good slugfest? This does raise questions for UFC 300. Of course, it's searching for a main event. Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad cannot main event. I won't even lie to you guys. If they do want to do it, Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway could be the main event. But unfortunate part is you really cannot put the BMF belt, which doesn't really exist, over like a women's title fight or Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. So it does get kind of tricky. Flyweight belt, bantamweight belt, featherweight belt, all not going to happen unless Ito Pura quickly knocks out Volk, and then actually there's no options for him to even fight someone. Islam Makhachev won't be fighting until June. Leon and Bilal cannot main event. I think all eyes are on light heavyweight for Alex Pereira to maybe fight Jamal Hill or Magomed Ankalaev. A lot of options. Or there is rumors that Alex Pereira might go up to heavyweight to take on Tom Aspinall for the interim heavyweight championship. So I'm not going to say there's no validity to that, but we will see what happens. A lot of stuff to come in 2024. We take a 2-week break from UFC, or just a 1 weekend break, but it's basically 2 weeks. I'll be back Thursday with all sorts of new stuff. We're going to be working on a new series where I rank my KOs, of course. Giving our conference NFL game predictions, checking in with the NBA, NHL, new UFC news, all sorts of fun stuff. But we say goodbye to Canada. All right, bye-bye, Canada. I don't think we're going back to Canada this year. I'll be honest. I don't think we should go back to Canada this year. But, hey, we have a South African champion in Dricus du Plessis. Maybe we'll see you in Africa for the first ever UFC Africa card. That would be amazing. Thank you guys for your time. Have an amazing, blessed week. Make it the best. Make it the best week of your life. I'll catch you next time on the Surprise Jab Podcast.